Coming up in this awesome episode of 1914 Excelsior, I pay homage to the 1985 movie comedy classic Fletch.
Come on, people. It's all about ball bearings these days. So looks like another small thing we're going to have to address here is the rocker, and you probably can't see this now. We'll take this over to the inspection stand and get a closer look, but you can see, so this pivot for the rocker is, it's just worn out, and you can kind of make this out here. It's ovaled so bad. This is where the push rod goes down to the cam chest. Down to the cam follower, and that's also been all worn out here. So I'm going to remove this rocker. We'll take it over to the inspection stand. We'll take a closer look at that. Okay, we're over at the inspection stand, and this is just to get a closer look at the rocker arm. And as you can see, both the center pivot and the pivot for the push rod are both worn out. They're very ovaled, and they're extremely worn out. And then also, I think I have a plan for this. But anyway, you can see this is the shaft for the center pivot. It's just worn out. And same, this is the pin for the push rod connection, and that too is just worn out. So we're going to have to do something there. There are two oiling holes on the top of the rocker arm. I would suspect the best thing to do is the pre-ride thing would be to, just a drop of some oil in there. But we're going to have to take care of these two, and then I also have an idea here for the actual contact pad for the intake valve. Okay, so to repair our worn holes here on our rocker arm, my plan is going to be to, first we'll make these holes round again. We'll do that by mounting this on the mill table, and then once those holes are round again, I'm going to make some bushings out of some 932 bearing bronze and press those into place. I'm also going to remake both of the pivot shafts. You can see that they are pretty worn as well, just adding to the the slop here. After 110 years in service, you would expect some wear and tears. So and once I make the new spindles, then I will drill and remount the new bushings to match the new spindles, and that should take care of our issues there. So that's the approach I'm going to take here, and I think that'll work out just fine.
Oh, hell yeah! It's time for a machining montage!
All right, so I'm getting ready to machine out the center pivot of the rocker spindle. I've got the rocker kind of creatively bolted down to the bed of the mill, and what I'm going to do is I got a 3/8 end mill in there. I'm just going to use the end mill to drill the hole because that'll assure some amount of straightness over a drill bit. So let's take a look and see what happens here. bring you in on this part here, you're going to notice that I did not drill the hole on center. I actually centered it on the elongation or the wear that was on the hole. The reason being, if I were to recenter this hole again, I would lose so much material, and I wanted to keep it as much strength and as much material as possible. And you know, you can argue that, you know, I'm changing valve timing and how it attacks the valve and all of that jazz, but in this case on a 1914 Excelsior, this does not matter. It'll run the same regardless. So I went with this approach so I could keep as much material as I could. You know, if I would have, you know, bored that out, it would be a substantially larger hole, and around the radius of that hole it would be just, you know, very thin. And I think the decision I made here is the right one. I guess there's, you know, a lot of different ways to skin a cat here, but this is the approach I'm going to take. Okay, the lathe work is completed on our pivot shafts. The last operation here will be to cut the slots in the head of the shafts. And how I'm going to do that, I've got the rotary table mounted to the mill, and I'm going to use my 72 tooth 0.057 thick slitting saw to cut that slot. I have to take that slot to a depth of 0.075. So that's the last operation, and let's get on with it. Okay, I have the rocker reinstalled in the head, and if you notice here, you can see the attack angle isn't what you would call desirable. You can see how it is attacking on this edge of the valve. You can also see that there is a witness mark on the face area of the rocker, which makes contact with the valve, and it's worn right there. But you can see how it's attacking here. Ideally, you'd want that to those forces to be applied in the center of the valve. This way, we're actually putting some side pressures on the valve, which will just cause, you know, wear and tear on the guide and all of that jazz. So I do have a potential hot rod upgrade that I think will improve things a little. It's not stock, but I think from a longevity standpoint, it'll make sense to do, and it'll also make valve adjustment a lot easier to get the proper valve clearance adjustment with the adjustable push rod. So I'm going to take you over to the inspection table and walk you through that my hot rod upgrade. All right, to get this hot rod upgrade to work, I'm going to need pliers and a set of 30 weight ball bearings. Come on, people, it's all about ball bearings these days. Actually, what I do need is this, a 7/32 ball bearing. What I'm going to do is drill a hole in the center of this pad, the contact pad on the rocker. I'm going to use a number 4 drill. that comes to 209 thou. I'm going to drill that to a depth of 143 thou, and then I will press that bearing into that hole and secure it. It's going to be a press fit, and I'll also secure it with some 271 Loctite. How do I know that's going to work? Well, because I've done some sample testing. This is exactly those criteria, and it worked great. I did not Loctite that in place, and it is there. So that's going to help us correct our contact area. So we're basically it's going to end up looking like that, and pushing on the center of the valve, which is going to improve things. It isn't a stock thing. It is an upgrade. I think from a longevity standpoint, it'll prevent some wear and tear, and realistically, no one will ever know that improvement has ever been made. So I think it's worthwhile doing, and I think that'll work out just slick. So let's get to it.
Well, that wraps up this episode of 1914 Excelsior. On the next episode, we're going to try out some new machining goo. Let's take a look at some of its main features here. It says here, prolongs tool life. We like that. Water-based, also very good. It says here, fast, smooth cuts, even with exotic dancers. Oh, I'm sorry, metals. So also very good. Oh, no, this ain't going to work for us. Here, take a closer look. No goo noise formula. Clearly inferior to the product I'm currently using. So we are not going to try that out. Now that we know the new machining goo stuff is clearly not going to work out for us, I say on the next episode of 1914 Excelsior, we turn our attention to the driveline components, to include the pedal crankshaft assembly and clutch pack. Boy, it's going to be one heck of a barn burner. Yep. So, hey, thanks for following along so far, and we'll see you next time on 1914 Excelsior. No goo noise formula. Ha! Who are they kidding?